ESP, or extrasensory perception, is an umbrella term describing a variety of phenomena and abilities that tap into the unseen, operating beyond the spectrum of what is thought possible with the physical senses. But are these abilities real? And can just anyone acquire them with proper practice and persistence? I am here to find out. Hi everyone, my name is Gary. Welcome to Project 5 of the S.A.G.E network. The purpose of this experiment is to determine whether or not ESP can be applied and measured within a statistically significant margin and develop a replicable experiment protocol. I named this project Essential Clairvoyance. However, this term doesn't fully describe the scope of the experiment. But more on that a little later. In this experiment, I will be using a set of 12 number cards from a deck of regular playing cards. After placing them face down in a 4x3 grid, I will attempt to sense which ones are black and which ones are red. I will of course have 6 for each color. Now, clairvoyance is the ability to see objects and events in your mind's eye when they're obscured from your physical senses. And since we're talking about colors which are perceived by the physical sense of sight, clairvoyance seems like the appropriate term. However, when it comes to extrasensory perception, things are not quite as black and white as they are with the 5 physical senses, or black and red in our case. For example, when I tried this exercise in the past, I was inclined to sensing the temperature of the colors. Black felt more cold as well as pulling in, while red was warm and pushing out or expanding. Clairvoyance is one of the big 4, which also include clairaudience, meaning clearly hearing words, tones, sounds that are not physically present, clairsentience, clear feeling, emotions, physical sensations, gut responses, and so on. For example, my sensations of cold and hot or push or pull could fall into this category depending on which system of categorization is being used. Then there's claircognizance, or clear knowing, sudden insights, knowledge without reasoning. And there are more clairs beyond the big 4, but we're not going to touch on them in this video. Just note that everyone has a predisposition for one or more clairs, and even if you're trying to perceive visual information, it can come through any of the mentioned channels or even ones that have not been mentioned. For example, if you're predisposed for clairgustance, the extrasensory tasting ability, you might feel that red cards are more sweet and the black ones are more sour. Just don't actually lick the cards, unless you're also testing your immune system, but that's not a part of my experiment. Just try to quiet your mind and be open to the experience that arises. Cards have been used for tapping into hidden abilities for longer than history can reliably trace. The most recent example are the Zener cards, used in parapsychology, which became a staple of virtually every fictional story about individuals with special abilities. And that's for a good reason. They were first introduced by Carl Zener and Joseph B. Rhine in the early 1930s at Duke University, and have been used in many reputable studies ever since. But I designed my experiment to be easily replicable with readily available tools that you likely have at home and don't have to buy or print specifically for the experiment, while also maintaining enough variability to produce statistically significant results. And if statistically significant results do occur, the implications are vast. This simple card game is designed to not only help discover your ESP abilities, but to train them as well. And the more people become exposed to this method and to the potential reality of ESP, the bigger ripple effect it will have on our understanding of reality and how we interact with the world. Any deck of playing cards will do. I have isolated the 8s, 9s, and 10s in my deck because they have the biggest surface area of uniform color compared to other cards. So in theory, it should make it easier to detect them. But you can of course use any set of 6 and 6 cards. You can also practice with a smaller or a bigger grid, like 2x4 or 8x8. Just don't overexert yourself. I recommend using a new deck without identifiable markings such as folded corners or faded colors. Do not underestimate the ability of your subconscious to memorize details and inadvertently contaminate the experiment. I am performing this experiment throughout the month of October, and I will share my results at the end of the month. You can either do the same or even try just for a week. You might notice that I already began the experiment ahead of this announcement. I did it both in order to be able to demonstrate the method in this video and to set a point of reference, and definitely not because I'm running behind schedule. Believe it or not, my results were exactly 50-50. What I'm hoping for is, of course, a statistically significant improvement by the end of the month. Now let's talk about how to perform the experiment step by step. First, shuffle the cards and place them in a grid in front of you. Then sit down and settle in. Take a few minutes to meditate, take deep breaths, and quiet your mind. You can try a body relaxation technique where you count to 10 and affirm with each count that a group of your body parts is relaxing. For example, you can go from the bottom up like so. 1. My feet are relaxing, becoming light and spongy. 2. The relaxation expands into my ankles, filling every muscle. 3. All tension in my knees melts away. And so on until you finish with the top of your head. You could also affirm that you will slowly count from 10 to 0, and by the time you reach 0, your mind will be quiet and open to perceiving. Remember to affirm before you begin the count. There are many other ways which you can easily find online, but the main goal of this step is to achieve a state of relaxed, quiet focus and openness. When it's done, begin the exercise. Don't rush it. Take your time. You can simply look at the cards and ask in your mind which ones are red or which ones are black. Or you can hover your hand over each card and ask, is this one red, or which color is this one? I personally believe that yes or no questions work better, as they are clearer and more straightforward. These are just examples, but I encourage you to be creative and explore what methods work best for you. The less rigid and more playful you are, the better the results will be. After you ask the question, wait for cues. The trick is to learn to discern between your imagination or rational mind's calculations and the subtle intuitive cues from your higher self, subconscious or superconscious mind, spirit guides, guardian angels, or any other source that you're inclined to credit for the extrasensory perception. Once you believe you received a cue, either as a color, sound, or sensation associated with the answer, flip the card and see if you were correct. Place the correct answers in one pile and the incorrect ones in another, and then count your results at the end. I recommend recording your results right after each session. You will achieve the best results if you do it as a daily practice. Use a fresh deck without markings. Even tiny scuffs, bends, or discolorations can bias your results without you realizing. And while less crucial, but I still recommend to maintain consistent conditions such as deck type, lighting, environment, and so on. I will be posting daily updates on my progress. I welcome you to join me and find out for yourself how psychic you are and how much more psychic you can become. If you have any questions or concerns, you are always welcome to share them in the comment section or the Discord group. I do my best to respond as soon as I can. Do you think extrasensory perception is real? And what, in your opinion, is the mechanism behind it? In what ways would the world change if ESP was definitively proven to be real and became a part of our daily lives. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. If you like my content, please support me and help me grow by giving this video a like, leaving a comment, and subscribing to my channel so you don't miss the daily updates and future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck!